This PCA gives Bryan Kohberger's defense their very first argument for plausible deniability, literally on a silver platter. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. I want to talk about something that's been bothering me since the probable cause affidavit for the arrest of Bryan Kohberger when it comes to the quadruple homicides in Idaho, in which Kaylee and Maddie and Xana and Ethan's lives were taken. That's the biggest case going on right now, so I'm pretty positive if I say those first names, anyone who hasn't seen this face before knows exactly who it is that I'm talking about. I have an issue with a statement that was made in this probable cause affidavit. Now, while all of the evidence in here, it is definitely damning, in my opinion. His behaviors that are being pointed out with the way that they tracked his movement is very interesting and tells its own tale, of course. And we know that they did all of this through cell phone tower tracking. And we do know that those aren't always accurate. For any of you who follow the Juleza Fuentes case, there was an issue with her last cell phone ping in the area where she eventually was found because of the way that the signals would bounce off of the mountains and the caverns in the area because it was towards a lake-ish area. Now, I'm not really too sure about how the terrain is. I know it's hilly. Comes to mountains and big things that could cause cell phone towers to give faulty pings, I'm not really quite sure how big of an issue it is in that area. But I want to read you a statement that was placed in the probable cause affidavit that has me really concerned for what the defense might try to pull here. And I'm wondering why they even put this in here, because this wouldn't be a reason for arrest. This wouldn't be something that someone should be able to look at and say, oh, that's definitely probable cause for this arrest warrant. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read this to you guys. So keep in mind all of the things that I just said while I'm reading this statement so that maybe you'll kind of understand where I'm coming from. So on page 15, at the very end of where it talks about all of the cell phone tower addresses that they were able to basically find him in after the fact, in the really extended drive that he took down south towards Genesee and back up towards Pullman, the very last paragraph states this: investigators found that the 8458 phone did connect to a cell phone tower that provides service to Moscow on November 14th, 2022. But investigators do not believe the 8458 phone was in Moscow on that date. The 8458 phone has not connected to any towers that provide service to Moscow since that date. So right there in that statement, it's telling us that there was a faulty phone ping that shows that Bryan Kohberger's phone was in the Moscow area, but that law enforcement doesn't believe that to actually be true. Now, it doesn't state in here why they think that this is what I'm seeing as a faulty phone ping. I'm guessing they probably have him on security footage, maybe not being in that area. There's a lot of footage and a lot of details about how they tracked him and what they actually saw of him during this time that we are not told in this PCA. Something else that I want to point out is that even though this PCA states that they have his phone being in the neighborhood of King Road around, 12 times, and at least 11 of those in the dark prior to the incident. So I'm really wondering, how many times in the dark did he actually take a drive out there with the phone already off so that he could make his brain pay attention to how to get there without help? But how does that statement give probable cause for an arrest? That right there is reasonable doubt. Right there. If they can put this right here in this affidavit, they could literally use that for every single ping. Now, it's very unlikely that every single ping would be a faulty one. But if they're stating right here in black and white in this official document that caused 50 people in tactical gear to bust in and arrest him at 3 o'clock in the morning? Why can't it be used in court to throw out him even being in the area, or his phone going in all these weird off the wall, out the way directions just to get back home after the fact? If they can state this here, the defense can use it any way that they want to. I'm just not understanding why this statement's even in this thing at all. I'm going to end this with this, and it's kind of sad in my opinion that I even have to bring this forward. I guess I, even though cannot stand humans, still give them a little bit more credit than they deserve, I guess. Y'all know that I do find it a little strange that Dylan, the surviving roommate, who now we know from this PCA, saw with her own 2 eyes a masked man dressed all in black in the home on King Road, and also heard very disturbing things prior to actually seeing him. I feel like there's people like me who just find it a little odd and always have like the what ifs that they're gonna bring up whenever having discussions about it. And then you have the jerks. And I didn't realize how bad this was until I got on Twitter yesterday. There are people basically making it seem like they're pissed off that this girl was left alive. And that's horrible. That is disgusting. I am so glad that people actually survived what this psychopath did in that home that night. I do have questions. I know everyone reacts to things differently. And in my brain, I can't see freezing for 8 hours or just being so scared and feeling all those emotions about what happened and then just being able to go to sleep thinking that it wasn't real. I would have, in my opinion, if not call 911, then why not text the roommates or call the roommates and be like, hey, I heard you say something about somebody being in the house. Is everything okay? Or why not text Xana and be like, hey girl, are you crying? Is everything all right? I mean, to be honest, possibly that could have happened. We only know what we're being told. There is probably, and not even probably, for a 1,000,000% fact, there is going to be some very bad, horrible, disturbing things coming out of wherever this ends up. Even with the whole innocent until proven guilty thing, I am very not giving any much of a chance, if that statement just made any sense, of him not being the guy. Now, I do question the fact, which I've mentioned in my community tab and in previous information that I've posted about this case, that it's strange to me that one person can subdue 4 people with one weapon that's a manual type weapon. And I'm curious as to if he used some way to take them down before taking them out, if that makes sense. And yes, he very well could have injected them with something. It only takes like that. He's not going to be taking out an alcohol swab and getting all the bubbles and air out of the whatever they do, you know what I mean? Or he could have chloroformed them, or he could have used a stun gun. I don't know, but it's very strange to me that he could do this. And we know that he stalked the house for a while, so he knew damn well that there were going to be 2 other females in that house besides Kaylee and Maddie and Xana. And never mind the fact Kaylee wasn't even supposed to be there that night. You know, the way that Kylie Rodney wasn't supposed to go to the Prosser campground either. All last minute things with crazy, tragic endings. But I guess that's it for this one. What do you guys think about this statement being in the probable cause affidavit? Is this a help or a hinder? To me, it's a hinder. I don't understand why that was even in here. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know. See y'all.